What's going on out there? Speed Gaming land. My name is the Schwantz27, and it is Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Wednesday. We've got a Final Fantasy VI randomizer race here for you. And to kind of explain what the heck is going on here, I have Turdsman in the booth to help me out. Turdsman, how are we feeling tonight?
Oh, we're feeling pretty great. To help me out, I have a fancy little graphic that you made, actually. So let's get started at the top. So Kefka Unlock for this one. In order to get access to the final boss, our players are going to need to get 8 characters and 8 espers from various checks that they will find throughout the dual worlds of Final Fantasy VI. And if they want to skip about 5 minutes of that final dungeon, they'll have to fight 12 bosses and traverse the Leet River. They will start with a health Banon, Strago in this case, fiddled around a bit to make him look like Banon. 4 characters start, 3 randoms, and the Strago mentioned earlier will affect the scaling, which is the next point. And enemy level HP and MP scaling is characters, espers, and dragons times 2.5. So every single one of those pieces of progression will make the enemies harder throughout this game. Maxed out at level 45, the characters will start with 5 to 7 lores, which is raised up a little bit from the Ultros League standard of 3 to 5. No free characters and espers is turned on, so that means that certain checks that are a little bit easier to get will not be giving out any characters or espers to our players. So there will be exclusively items, good items generally, but no actual progression.
Better items, because we're doing the stronger item
you're right.
For rewards. So yeah, so in this instance, what we mean by a check is basically like a world event from the original Final Fantasy VI game. We start out with 4 characters. We definitely have Health Banon or Health Strago masquerading as Banon this siege. So we'll have access to Strago's checks for sure, which is the Fanatic's Tower, Ebbett's Rock, and the Burning House. And we'll see who else we get in our party to go along this journey on our way here. So, Turdsman, what's your thought on what we might see out of our runners here with those particular options that you had said already?
Well, I think the most exciting part about this particular Kefka Grand Prix flag set is the 4 character start. So that means that all of our runners are going to have 4 different sets of checks to be able to go and do. And that usually means that there's going to be a lot more fanning out in the early game. There will be 4 different places or 4 different sets of places, that they'll have access to. So it'll be really exciting to see who decides to go where along this early game route.
Yeah, I'm kind of anticipating that our free checks, so those checks that don't require you to fight a boss or a enemy encounter in those checks, I'm expecting our runners to go gobble all of our free checks up right away, because they're going to be high tier items to sort of figure out exactly where we are going to, or what our builds are going to be. And I will take care of the Discord volume. Let's just give me 1 second. What's your thoughts on that?
Shoot, I was actually reading chat, so I missed some of what you said there.
Oh, I was asking about where do you think our runners are going to go first here?
I agree with you that the free checks are pretty good to suck up right away. It looks like Setzer is there in the main team, so chances are going to be a pretty early trip to Kohlingen. We'll see if they...
Setzer, Sketch, Natural Magic, Sabin, and I think it was Control was the other one, so not great abilities to start off with here. Drinks Glue and Knuckly Kong heading immediately to the Kohlingen, which is one of Setzer's check here. And
Thunder Shield, not bad. So yeah, this is bearing out like how you thought. We'll see if they decide to go to Burning House. That's the or not Burning House, Collapsing House. The other house with the problem.
Lots of problematic houses here.
Yeah.
We do find a Pearl Rod in a shop there for Drinks Glue. We can crack that in a pinch to cast a max damage Pearl spell if we need to. So yeah, let's talk about some of the free checks that we have access to with these characters. We already saw Kohlingen in. So that's one of Setzer's. We have Collapsing Houses, you just mentioned. That's one of Saban's. There are a couple of Monster in a Boxes in there as well if we want to go dig into there. But you don't actually have to fight anything in the Collapsing House if you don't want to. So that's why it's considered a free check. And, Thunder Rods for sale and enhancers to boost magic power there for Nobody War. And then Cyan actually gives us the Mount Zozo check, which technically you have to buy the Rust Rid to get into, and technically there is a dragon there if you want to fight it. But since you don't have to fight it, it's considered a free check. So those will all give one of those stronger items from the stronger item pool there.
Yeah, I think probably 2. I'm not sure if they'll end up going through all 3. There's definitely the dragon is a pretty juicy, it's a pretty juicy plum to want to go after right away. Finding the Thunder Shield and the Pearl Rod give our runners some expensive but decent ways to get rid of a nasty enemy right away. So that might not be a bad call for a first fight to gain some early levels.
Drinks Glue getting a very out-of-the-way chest there for a Genji helmet. It's decent defense, but I think he's going to want to sell that for some stuff. I haven't seen anything really that popped out at me in the basement here. So
no, not really. There's decent stuff down here, but nothing that's going to be a full build for later on. A lot of money, though.
Yeah, well, we got to spend it somewhere. So the Collapsing House is in the World of Ruin to Zen, right? So it's got all of the shops that we'd want to see. So perhaps that is in our future, Collapsing House and buying some stuff there. But we'll see what else our runners grab out of our chests here. Mario Hat is okay for later on if we get a physical offensive build. But right now we are on the struggle bus with these pretty terabad abilities that we have of our characters. So we'll see what our runners decide to do. Hopefully they get a big sharp stick at one of these free checks somewhere.
Yeah, especially with commands not being so hot in this particular setup. They're going to want to find something to get some damage out. A good Esper right out of the gate works, but unfortunately that can be a little bit tough. It'll increase scaling again, and so you're not necessarily the best course of action, but finding a strong weapon or a good set of breakable rods that's what I would be looking for in this case, at least.
Yeah, unfortunately, the striker item against these undead enemies will instant kill them and then bring them back to life, as Nobody War found out. These ghosts are particularly dangerous because they will do single target fire, and they don't really give very much in terms of XP. So this is not a great fight here.
Ooh, uh-oh.
Yep. Ooh, Cyan barely hanging on. If you do have like Revivify to throw on these guys, then fine. But if you don't, then you get into trouble, as Nobody War finds out right here. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate wipe from Nobody War, but he does have some information. He can... it looks like he saved before doing this. Good job.
Yeah, so...
Kept all those items.
Yeah, saving is definitely the way to go. I'm still trying to fiddle around with the volume control for the commentary crew. So if I'm much quieter than Turdsman, I'm still working on it. So just give me feedback, and I just crank myself up a little bit more, and hopefully that will help. Otherwise, I'll just yell for the rest of the commentary. I could do that. My wife won't be happy about it, but 16K for the Tizen Thief in the World of Ruin there for Knuckly Kong. I did not see if it was an Esper or an item when we checked in World of Balance.
It was an Esper. And I suppose I can probably quiet down too if that would help.
Hey, there is an Esper there for Knuckly Kong. It is Kieran. So Tizen Thief can sell you some progression, which contradicts sort of the Mount Zozo thing, but just go with it.
It's a separate flag to keep that guy off of progression. Ooh, Humpty, this is a much better fight to get. Still tough, but...
Let's refresh and reset here. We'll see if that
All right.
So yeah, Knuckly Kong in the collapsing house here is avoiding the monster in the boxes, and unfortunately, after you complete this check, you can't go back in the house to go get the monster in the boxes. So he is forfeiting the potential Katana Soul offering fight in there, or a Gigantos fight as well. We're running into another mob of undead enemies. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to comment on the, hoping that there's nothing too terribly bad, too terribly important in there. Missing a Gigantos is pretty rough. Missing the guaranteed offering that you can get from Katana Soul is pretty rough.
But that is definitely worth having early on in the game. That is an experience egg from the collapsing house.
Yeah, sadly we couldn't get a fourth runner for this tonight, so we have a fun little box there. Consider it a control group.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could. I wonder if there's a way for me to put the flags in there, perhaps. Give me 2 seconds.
Not a bad idea.
I'll see if I could get that going. I'll stream to my own. I'll stream to my own Twitch and just put up the graphic there. So give me 1 second.
So while he is setting that up, we can take a look at the changes. It looks like Nobody War found a bit more friendly of a grind fight here in these over grunk and mind candies. Just some of these are just fun to say. Meanwhile, Drinks Glue heading into the world of Ruin to search around there. Knuckly Kong is taking a quick save. Gonna see what's on that cure in. X Zone, Cure 2, Speed +2, not too shabby. Very handy stat for basically any type of build that's going to do any kind of offense, which you kind of want in this game. It's best defense is a good offense in Final Fantasy VI for sure.
Yeah, who cares about defense? It's killing stuff as fast as you possibly can.
It does objectively rule when the final boss does his ultimate physical attack on a character and it does 2 damage. That feels amazing. However, that isn't going to actually be doing HP damage to the boss. It's just going to be doing psychic damage to him, which at that point he's already pretty well gone. He's not thinking too hard about this stuff. You're not really going to be able to talk him down. So Drinks Glue also picking up his Esper. Let's make sure that I know which... Yay, I got it right.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, awesome.
I don't know how terrible that looks, but that's what we're going to...
It's readable. It's a little squished, but it's readable. Oh, hey, here's an example of the Revivify thing that we were talking about earlier. Aloe Vera, as you can see just on first glance, is definitely undead. So using one of those zombie curing items will take care of him right away and get Drinks Glue a Tiger Fang, which Sabin can equip naturally. It has a couple of fun little stats on it, but not quite an endgame item.
All right, well, Drinks Glue is going to show us exactly what Knuckly Kong missed out on in the collapsing house here. As first thing is a Telstar, so this is not at all something to cry over. It just drops some sort of beret. So not a huge deal there. So we'll see if he checks the other one. Oh, he already did check it. I must have been fiddling around with other diddly bits.
It was all over or aloe vera, or however you want to pronounce that.
If you get your sunburn, you got to fight the aloe vera. Okay, so then it was not a problem. Drinks Glue here going to get his experience egg. I don't think we've seen Mount Zozo yet. As far as our other free check we've got here. So let's talk, Turdsman, a little bit about what do we do after we do, sort of all of these free checks here. What ideally you'd like to do is get off of level 3, because all of our runners do start at level 3. We saw Nobody War take off the Moogle Charm to get into some forced random encounters. We give our teams or our racers 3 Moogle Charms, 1 for each team in Kefka's Tower, and you can keep them on to avoid those random encounters, or you can take them off if you want to do a grind fight. You could also do what Knuckly Kong is doing, head into the Imperial Camp, where there's 4 forced encounters in this check and no boss, or we can do another check that maybe has some forced encounters in it, like the Burning House or the soldiers at Dome of Siege. You could tell them, fight me, bro, and that could work also. So we'll see what our runners do. If it was you, Turdsman, what would you sort of do in this situation here?
Well, I would probably check the Dome of Siege first. That one has the added benefit of letting you sort of pick how many you want to do. If it's a really rough one, but you can take care of it. You might want to try doing a couple extra ones, since after getting that first bunch of levels, you're going to be substantially more powerful for the second round. And if it's something that's kind of weak and is not going to give you that much experience, you can at least fight 2 or 3 of them to be able to have enough levels to get past that first boss.
Yeah, because we do start out with 4 characters in this flag set, unlike some of our other ones. So that means our enemies are already at 4 times 2, plus half of 4. So that's 10 for people that could follow that in their head. And some of our runners even got an extra Esper. So that leaves our enemies at level 12, 13. So they're going to be a little bit tougher than normal.
Yeah, that's when the extra items help out. If you get one of those breakable rods or something along those lines to kind of skip past this. Chaos Dragon being controlled is not a bad solution to this problem.
This is a great fight if nobody war can survive it. This fight gives a lot. Oh no!
Uh-oh. And everybody run!
Can't run away from the earthquake. Can't away from the earthquake. Monster kill. Oof. Oh man, you got to be careful with Sketch sometimes. So
yeah,
Sketch will use the rage ability of whatever enemy you sort of found there. That's a new one on me. That's a really good fight, though. If nobody war decides to do that again and doesn't do what they just did.
I mean, that's Sketch. Sketch is one of those commands that is really useful sometimes, and unfortunately, it completely requires knowing exactly what's going to happen at every single time. Meanwhile, Drinks Glue running into Master Pug.
Yeah. Another useless.
Yeah, not great fight.
Yeah, it's like Sex Panther. 60% of the time, it works every time.
Absolutely. You get a Gradius, which isn't too incredible, but unfortunately, Knuckly Kong running into a different type of problem. This Baskervore sneezes enemies away, or sneezes your party away as a counterattack to certain things. So his characters are getting experience, but not the full party, unfortunately.
Yeah, and unlike in the vanilla game of Final Fantasy VI, we do not split the experience amongst the party members that are left. So it's not like these 3 characters are going to get more experience now that Sabin has been blown off the map. So Sabin just straight up loses XP here.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, so the presence of the ghost sprite means, Turdsman, that this is not going to be a character. It's either going to be an Esper or an item, and with the no free progression flag set on, or the no free characters and Espers, that usually means we're going to get an Esper here, because there aren't very many checks that will turn out to be what we call dead checks, which is just an item instead of a character or an Esper.
Yes, there are a total of, 14 characters and 26 different Espers in the game. Now, since
27.
Is it 27?
It is 27.
Oh, no.
How do you think I got my name? No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is. It's
getting some lore tonight.
Yeah, right? I am the 27th in the long line of Schwanzes. My dad, the 26th. No, anyway.
What spells do you teach?
Have a nice day.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Increases charisma by 2 points.
Yeah, hopefully winning the race.
But that does mean that so 4 of those 14 characters are not going to be shuffled amongst all the checks. But there can only be a certain number of dead checks in the game, since there's only a certain number of checks in the game. And having all of those shunted to the obvious free progression or free checks, that lets you know that, okay, it's much, much less likely that one of these other ones is going to have just nothing in it. Or, an item that might not be terribly useful.
Yeah, so since this is the Final Fantasy VI randomizer after all, the spells that are on Espers are randomized, and this Zone Seek has Cure 2, Fire 2, and Bolt 2. So it's a pretty nice one to find early on here in the seed, and we already have Instant Death with Kieran for Knuckly Kong. So that is very helpful for later on in the seed, because the objective is to defeat the final boss, Kefka. And Kefka, that fight is the same no matter what, and Nobody War's going on a bit of a walkabout here. Where are you going, bud?
Yeah, this is I'm curious. Oh, he's walking over to Doma.
He's walking to the castle.
He had to walk it off, He just had to shake it off a little bit.
He had to get his steps in for the day. Make sure his Fitbit is working. Or his Apple Watch. Fitbit is like so boomer of me to say, isn't it?
Things are moving fast these days. I don't think anybody could blame you for that one.
All right, so Knuckly Kong chasing waterfalls. That's another old reference.
Nobody War
with the Three Stooges, and what is? Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I had the same reaction. There's another boss that looks like this, but it's not this guy, thankfully.
Yeah, thank goodness. So number 24 here at the Doma Siege spot. So this is one of Cyan's checks, and Knuckly Kong's doing yet another one of Sabin's checks. This one was going to be rough, though, because the Three Stooges will do this Delta hit attack.
Ooh, there it is.
On their third turn, which basically petrifies one of your characters. And if you don't have something to cure that, then that character is essentially dead, meaning they won't get XP, they won't get MP from this fight, and it's not a fun one.
So it looks like Knuckly Kong does have access to Bolt 2, which will do a little bit of damage to that guy on top, but he is he's weak against ice, so it's not going to do as much as an Ice 2 would, unfortunately. And with progression, with that fourth character put in your party at the beginning, even the second boss of the game is going to be a little bit healthier than you might expect.
Yeah, so Knuckly Kong, I believe, when he left Imperial Camp, his characters were at level 12, which is what the enemies were before he completed that.
Yeah.
So I think Nobody War is at 10 or 9 for this fight here. Drinks Glue, I just saw his XP egg user is 15. So about the same level as Knuckly Kong is here. We'll see where he decides to go next, as he picked up his second Esper there. Just don't have a lot of offense here, as you see Nobody War is just swinging away with some pretty terrible weapons here.
Yeah, that's the risk of not having those good commands at the start. If you don't run into something that can supplement that, then trying to wing it against a boss might not quite go the way that you want it to. I do believe Nobody War did crack a shield on him earlier, so at the very least he is low on health. But we got Drinks Glue coming up in the same fight. We'll see how he fares.
Yeah, he's got access to Bolt 2 at least from either that Thunder Shield or the Kieran Esper that we picked up from the Tizen Thief. And with that Kieran Esper, Knuckly Kong decided to banish Larry to the Netherworld. Larry is instant deathable, so nice heads-up play there from Knuckly Kong to know that attribute of the boss and basically just not have to fight that part of it. So we're down to just Mo here. And he's bullying Cyan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, really.
It's just like the AI already knows. Listen, I just Phoenix down this character. Please don't hit them. And of course,
it's like, hey, I saw green numbers pop off the U2 a second ago. You can't pull one over on
getting the scan system error. He's only got 116 HP.
Hey, good to know.
There we go. Done and done. Apparently, number 24 is weak against poison. I did not know that, or maybe either. Maybe that's what his, because he does have a version of Wall Change that Magimaster has. If you let him take enough turns. Usually this fight is over in just a few turns. But if it lasts a while, there you see on Glue's side the Wall Change coming out. And that is Phantom as the reward here for Nobody War. So let's see if this Bolt 2 actually gets through, as Nobody War's getting his exercise for the day, and nope, that bolt magic gets nullified. He's going to the Phantom Forest too. We're getting a Final Fantasy VI World Tour on Worlds Collide tonight.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if this works really, but the airship does teleport to your location when you leave the Phantom Forest, right? I've never bothered to really think about that because it's just always right there when I walk out, but...
Wow. It is Gao.
Hey.
With jump and capture. So hopefully Gao can have some decent items to jump with. So in Worlds Collide, well, in the vanilla game, Gao basically can't equip anything, right? I don't think.
Yeah, well, no weapons at least. He can equip like light shields and robes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but in Worlds Collide, you have a 33% chance of equipping something that you wouldn't normally be able to in the vanilla game. So Gao is going to jump with that ice sword there, and there's Quake just to rub it in, just to rub it in Nobody War's face. Thanks, game. Drinks Glue finally getting through that fight as Knuckly Kong struggle bussing through the Three Stooges here.
Number 24, probably the toughest version of that boss fight we've ever seen on stream. That was a...
When number 24 scans himself, you know that you have no offense.
Yeah, that's when you know, like, oh, this took a little too long.
All right, but that is third Esper there for Drinks Glue. I believe these enemies, one version of them is undead. Is it this one? Yes, it is.
Yeah, the ones in the Phoenix Cave in the vanilla game, I think, are the ones that aren't. And it looks like, I don't know if maybe Nobody War never found some Phoenix Downs or Revivifies because he's just running away from these guys.
Yeah, he wants to hold on to them, perhaps. And I don't blame him because we don't have a lot of offense here, and our body's just been hitting the deck every single turn, basically.
Yeah, everybody's getting whipped on.
At the bottom of Barren Falls, however, we do have yet another character here as well, and it is the other Figabro, Edgar. And we'll see what we get with Edgar and if he's worth putting into the party here. Three Stooges fight for Drinks Glue.
Ooh, there we go. That's a command we can use.
Yeah, the throw command is... I would argue that it's the best command in Worlds Collide because with a character with throw, you basically can throw weapons for double the damage of their battle power. You could throw them from the back row without a damage penalty, and they ignore physical defense. So just ridiculously powerful attributes for your throw user.
Yes, and very versatile ability too. I saw Nobody War equip a Phoenix Down on Gao just in case. You know.
Oh, and the Cherub Down, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Cherub Down.
That's hilarious.
The nice part about Throw is there are also those scroll weapons that those are affected by magic. So if you wind up with Throw on a very magic-oriented character, you can still make pretty decent damage come out. Easily the best ability to have early game. I suppose some people might be able to argue with the late game. I really like it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's great in all three phases of the game, really. And we've got Kefka and Norsh running down the track after us. It's a bit of a scary scene here. Knuckly Kong, meanwhile, at the Figaro Castle.
Okay.
I did not see I didn't see what the reward was from the throne. So one of Edgar's checks is you go and pick something off of the throne to have, and there you go, some fire skeins. That's what he's looking for. Some stuff to throw there.
Doesn't look like he has Edgar in the lead, though, unfortunately, which means he's not getting that sweet 50% discount.
Oh, Nobody War in a bit of trouble here as he turns on the Phantom, which means he'll automatically dodge all physical attacks, but all magical attacks will always hit. And yeah, that's not what we wanted to see there. Let's see if he
lost
saved.
Some time.
When was the last time Nobody War saved? Let's see what his tracker says.
It was before he went to Doma Siege, I think.
No, he's at 4-2, and so that means he only lost out on the Phantom Train stuff. So
okay,
we're gonna knock him back down to that. But he knows where another character is in Gao. He just has to find now some good stuff for Gao to use because jump is a pretty powerful command. It'll cost you basically a turn because the jumper will take their turn to jump and then wait there for about a turn and then come down. But all of the damage that is done is 1.5 times damage with most weapons, and 2 times the damage if you have a lance equipped.
So yeah, if you can find a good lance for Gao, then that will be a really strong character to pick up. Gao tends to have pretty high base stats, since in the base game he's pretty limited in what he has access to, so that works out pretty well in Worlds Collide. He has those 2 commands, as you might have noticed. He's got capture and jump instead of the fight and an ability. That is because Gao does start with those 2 commands in the original game. They get swapped out for whatever in this one.
Yeah, so it looks like Sabin learned Fire 3 as part of his natural magic. So that's what Knuckly Kong is going to do. He's just going to try and burn this boss to death. But oh no, we got Fire 3 queued up on Sabin here. Oh no, Rutrow. Let's hope he doesn't wipe the party. Oh, bye-bye, Setzer.
He did, however, wipe the guy that was going to hit him and knock him out of.
Yeah, that's never fun. Drinks Glue, meanwhile, is picking up his throw character. Nobody War peeking in some shops at World of Balance Narsh, and it looks like he's going to go to Barren Falls. No, he's going back to the train. He wants that Gao. I don't blame him here. Question from the chat. Sabin does not get any discount. He just gets longer dialogue, which is just frustrating. He does not get the same discount that Edgar does.
It does seem like he should, and for the longest time I thought he got a discount at South Figaro, but no, unfortunately.
All right, so Gao coming into the party over Cyan makes sense. That's Phantom for Knuckly Kong there with a much easier time than our other 2 runners. Even though he nuked his Setzer out of existence, he still got through that fight pretty fast compared to Drinks Glue and Nobody War. Nobody War are going to come up to some ghosts and say, "Fight me, bro." And it is the same mob as the one in the middle of the train. So if you like that mob, you can keep fighting that mob. If I were him, I would look in the shop for some Phoenix Downs or Revivifies and take these fights because they're pretty easy.
Yeah, these, especially if you can get one of those. And there's that, I believe it's the second ghost as you're coming in from the right. He will always be a shop, so it can be a good way to get something that you need if you happen to be stuck in the train here. All right, well, Knuckly Kong taking a nap.
Yeah, he's heading into Cyan's Dream. So this is actually a 3-part check. So you will get 3 rewards here from this check. The first one is Esper or item only. The second one is character or Esper. And then the third one is Esper item on the Doma Throne, where you get Alexander in the vanilla game. Yeah, unfortunately, Nobody War running away from these fights means that his team's not going to get that XP. And you need levels in this game in order to kill things. Yeah. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, especially with... I think the math adds up. Especially with these kind of substandard access to offense. You know, you gotta at least get something to get these regular fight swings up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Nobody War did not go to Collapsing House either, so he doesn't have that egg.
No, that's true.
Oh god, this fight here for Knuckly Kong. It's Welk, right. And we can't hit the shell.
Nope,
otherwise,
don't do it.
He goes in the Gru hole. Nice instant death proc there from Nobody War. This fight is very annoying because these guys have very high physical defense, and that's basically all of what our party can do right now.
Somewhat same problem with the Bloompires. Just can't, you gotta chip away at them. Oh. But at least this time you can get the instant death effect.
Yeah, sets are making good use of that there.
So Nobody War taking down Welk as Drinks Glue hops up on the train there, and we're gonna see how he feels about this Gao.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of boomers, did I just hear did I just hear your phone ring?
Hey,
was that you?
Look, that was, yes.
That's all right. Up until about last Thanksgiving sales, I had a Motorola, so I was right there with you.
Man, I miss my original droid. Ooh, hey, okay.
That's also another way to take care
of
the problem.
So, does the slice effect from Odin and the scimitar work the same way, where it doesn't care if you're undead?
Well, so there's two different properties. There's undead, and then there's instant deathable, right? Or vulnerable to wound. So undead and vulnerable to wound are kind of two separate statuses. So some enemies can be both, right? And in the case of bosses, we'll see some bosses later on in the seed, like SR Behemoth or Ghost Train, famously, where in Worlds Collide we have removed the undead property from the bosses, but we didn't touch the wound resistance property of the bosses. So they can be killed with instant death, but they can't be killed with a Phoenix Down or a Revivify. So that's, I guess, the case for those Bloompire enemies, is you can kill them with the Revivify or Phoenix Down, or you can just instant death them.
Well, but I definitely saw on Nobody Wars screen, at least, the effect from the Striker causing them to come back.
Right.
But so X-Zone just worked.
Yeah, so instant death proccing weapons will always proc instant death, but on undead enemies, they will bring them back to life at full health. But that's only for weapons, that's not for spells.
Oh, okay.
It's weird how that all works. Final Fantasy VI game is made of spaghetti.
I love... Hello.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi there. So, Katana Soul is in this monster in a box, and oh boy.
He does have access to Muddle. And Sketch.
Yeah, so in the vanilla speedrun of this game, you would just confuse Katana Soul, and then he Slayer edges himself, and nuff Jigglypuff, game over. In Worlds Collide, we've also found out that you could sketch Katana Soul, and the sketch ability is also Slayer Edge, and it sort of works the same way. But Sketch, unfortunately, also has a 50% chance of doing just plain attack, and that's what you're seeing Sabin do. So there it is. There's the Slayer Edge.
Hey.
My favorite Final Fantasy VI metal band. Meanwhile, Knuckly Kong is up to Chatternook here, and I didn't actually see what the reward is for the second part.
It was not a character. I think it was the merchant sprite.
Okay, so then this will be definitely an Esper, because this check is guaranteed to be a character or an Esper, and since it's not a character, we can do process of elimination, can't we, chat?
Yeah, Knuckly Kong, too, really showing off the power of that experience egg. His characters, he got one or two characters up enough to be able to take out some bosses a little bit faster than Drinks Glue and Nobody War did. Drinks Glue is not too far behind with his egg, of course, and is just creaming some of these bosses. Sabin is putting out tons of damage with his magic attacks.
Yeah, that Natural Magic Fire 3 is definitely a very nice thing to see here. Normally, Sabin's magic power is not that great, but a Fire 3 spell is still well worth its weight in casting power. So that was Madawin for Knuckly Kong. We'll see if he could round out the trifecta 3-for-3 dream here with an Esper on the throne, and that is Ifrit. So that'll be number 6 for Knuckly Kong. So at 5 and 6... he's looking pretty good. Remember, the gold numbers on the bottom, those are our goals. That is what we need in order to unlock the final boss of the game. That's 6 characters and 6 Espers. See if Drinks Glue decides to insert Gao into his party over one of the other members, and it doesn't look like he's going to at this moment here.
He did already replace his Cyant with Edgar, so I think he's probably happy with this party. Looks like he's heading... Oh, he doesn't even have the characters out. It looks he might be heading straight into the Serpent Trench.
Yeah, so there is dried meat in his inventory there. I just saw it. So Gao has 2 different checks. The Velt check, where you have to feed Gao the dried meat in the vanilla game, and then the Serpent Trench, which is where Gao shows you his shinies, and Gao likes shinies. So everybody quick, let's share this one scuba helmet.
Yep.
It's not disgusting or anything.
Yeah, everybody get in. We're going to have to hug for this one. Uh-oh.
I just realized when I changed my display name to Elite River Rally, it also changed it to the commentary indicator. So that's funny.
You're the embodiment of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Drinks Glue running into some very sick little squirrels down here underwater. But they're not going to get a chance to die on... Oh, never mind. These are the wrong guys.
Yeah, these are the poppers, not the peepers. There's a huge difference, Glue.
My mistake.
Come on now.
How dare I?
Come on now, Turdsman. So, Glass Cannon Air Force for Knuckly Kong at the Search the Sky spot. So Setzer, with Setzer, you could opt to immediately fight the Doomgaze spot instead of searching around for it. So that's what Knuckly Kong decided to do there, is learning a ton of spells. So I think this is going to be a pretty magic-heavy seed based on what we found so far here, Turdsman.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots. Sabin with Fire 3 and somewhat substandard ability puts him pretty much... That really the only thing he can do in this particular group. All the other level 2 spells floating around, which they're not great, but they're not bad. Bolt 3 on that Ifrit I saw. That's not too bad either.
Yeah, that was from Dream, right? So
yeah.
Knuckly Kong's the only one that has that one available here. And unfortunately for Nobody War, the longer he goes without Throw Edgar, I think, the tougher it's going to be for him. But I'm pretty sure that after this fight here, he's going to go to Barren Falls, because it's literally right there. So. Oh, here's a pretty decent fight if we need some money for Drinks Glue.
Yeah, these guys were a problem, I remember last night, but Reach Frogs do not like fire, so Sabin just took care of that, got a bunch of money on for his trouble.
Nom Nom 18,000 GP.
Gonna eat good tonight.
This is Setzer's third and final check, Daryl's Tomb here for Knuckly Kong.
Yeah, this one has that fun property where you get up to the grave and it'll let you know what's coming up, so that can give you a little bit of extra insight, so you can figure out whether or not you want to bother with this boss.
Yeah, it's one of those awful things though, where technically this is a peekable check, but realistically you've done the hardest part, which is get all the way through, right? The boss fight or the fight at the end is going to be pretty easy. So let's see. Hey, another character for Glue. That's Go-Go washed up on shore. And darn it, I missed what the inscription was. Oh boy, it's Doomgaze.
Ooh.
Did we pass our math test? Almost.
Almost. Well, Sabin had I think he was at level 30. He's the one who was hanging on to the experience egg. So at the very least, it wasn't everybody at the same level.
Yeah, so Chadius making a point in the chat. This is a boss that we have to kill, and if we look at the Kefka Tower skip, we do need 12 bosses. However, we also need the Leet River check, so until we get Terra, who is the person that grants access to the Leet River check, that boss count is irrelevant, right? So, yeah, and this is not a fun boss to fight.
No.
It'll give us a lot of experience, but no MP, as Drinks Glue is going to turn around into the Cyan check. The other guy.
Sabin?
Nope, the other guy. Edgar,
there we go. There's a lot of blondes in this game. It's kind of tough to...
Yeah.
I guess Setzer counts? I don't know if Setzer counts.
His hair has seen better days.
Mm-hmm. How do you think that happened?
I'm pretty sure it's the stress from gambling and racing. And
you're 100% right.
Those sort of things. This was a time of great invention, like the steam-powered engines, but we hadn't gotten Just for Men yet, so...
It's a really sad time in history.
Yeah.
Hey, Nobody War. Thankfully going to go after his Edgar here.
Yeah, here we go.
Got to find some big power there.
So Drinks Glue, I think, just took a peek at what Edgar was cooking, and it was not a character, so he decided to reset out. So I'm not quite sure what the play for Drinks Glue is here, because he's heading up towards the Tritok spot now. There is a dragon that you could fight here, and the Tritok spot is what we call not character gated, so anybody can do this check. However, it only rewards an Esper or an item.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he wants that dragon fight. Could be that he found an Ifrit recently.
All right,
I forget what that Ifrit was.
That was Cyan's dream. Knuckly Kong grabbing Crusader from that boss, so that's number 8 Esper for him.
So that's all the Espers he needs, but he definitely needs a bunch of characters. Hopefully he will... Oh, he's also heading here.
Yes, I don't know why we're going here with already 8 Espers. Maybe to hit the bucket for the hail. So looking at Knuckly Kong's tracker, he's got Phantom Train, which you already know is Gao. He's got Mount Colts, which is another one of Saban's checks. He has both of Edgar's checks, and Drinks Glue showed us already that the first one is not a character. And then we have all of Strago, a.k.a. Bannon's checks to do yet still. So Knuckly Kong has some possibilities open.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of options, and the characters are hidden behind checks that are pretty decent. You know, like you saw earlier when Nobody Wore and Drinks Glue went to that Phantom Train, you get to see who's on it before you have to commit to doing the whole thing. That'd be a really good spot for Knuckly Kong to go to grab that Gao, and we know that Go-Go is behind Gao. That would bring him up to 7 and put him quite a ways ahead. He kind of already is, but we'll see how this ends up playing out. With him also going up the Narsh Mountain, I'm very curious about this tactic.
Yeah, it's odd to me when you already have 8 Espers. You should be looking for characters, but maybe he's feeling under-leveled and he wants to take a dragon here. So can you talk about, I guess, the benefits of what a dragon gets you in Worlds Collide?
Oh, sure. It's a tough boss in terms of damage. They tend to not have as much HP as some of the other endgame bosses at comparable scaling. But they give you a ton of experience points. They give you 50 magic points. So anything that is ×2 or higher will be learned immediately. And they also give the item that the dragon naturally drops in the original game, and on top of that, a free item check as well. So that'll be a high-tier weapon or high-tier armor or relic. Unfortunately, behind it is Poltergeist at the ice spot that Drinks Glue just decided that he didn't feel like dealing with.
Yeah, is your tummy rumbling? I sense some spicy chicken.
Yep. Nashville style, it looked like.
Yeah, so I like Glue deciding, hey, I want Go-Go in my party. Throw-Go, as I affectionately call it, is one of my favorite builds for Go-Go. Basically because with Go-Go's Mimic command, you don't have to use the item from your inventory in order to mimic it. So you can crack a rod or a shield, and even if you don't have any more in your inventory, if you hit Mimic, it'll just repeat the last command. You can also, and I didn't know this until I started playing Worlds Collide either, you can actually equip the item menu, or not the item menu, the action menu for Go-Go. So Go-Go can basically have whatever ability they want on their menu, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's in the status section, and anything that you have access to will be put into his list. With some exceptions, I think we saw health was not in there.
The temporary abilities are not.
Yeah. I think Magitech doesn't get in there either.
Magitech, Shock, Possess, I think, also is another one that.
Yeah. But of course, he can mimic all that stuff still.
Right. Possess tends to be excluded because it's a completely broken command.
It's really, really funny.
Yeah, so the developers were like, well, you can't take the ghost off the Phantom Train, so it doesn't check any enemy if they can or cannot be possessed. And possess basically is just an instant death. So you can even possess Final Kefka if you wanted to.
Yep.
Just goodbye.
Yeah,
it's quite funny. So normally in Worlds Collide, we restrict that possess is not a potential command for our characters, but all the other ones are usually in play.
Yeah, Shock tends to be the other one that gets excluded just because it's a really obvious move. It's not necessarily top tier for the end of the game, depending on what your magic power is, but for the early game, it's tough to find something within the first 30 minutes that's going to be better than using shock.
All right, so Knuckly Kong sees Spicy Chicken and decides, I'm not hungry. So he's leaving this here and going in search of another character. So we'll see if he decides to continue on the Edgar route once he sees a lack of character here at the first check. Drink School, meanwhile, does make it through Poltergeist, so they will get a Horrorland shop, and it's one of the rare dead checks. However...
Valiant Knife is good.
However... Nobody can use it!
Fully blank.
Oh!
Not even cyan.
The pain!
Fully blank. That is a
remember,
bummer.
I think Glue was the one that found the Katana Soul monster in a box on the train, right? And got the offering?
I believe so, yeah, because I don't think Knuckly Kong's even gone to the train just yet.
Yeah.
We're going to chase that ghost, though.
Yeah. So this is
everyone can use Marvel shoes. That is true, chat. It is true. Chattiest from chat, reminding everybody about them kicks.
Nobody should use Marvel shoes. So that is Nobody War's 6th character there with Go-Go. I hope they eventually make it back to Barren Falls, and it looks like boots and Atlas Armlet in that shop there. Very nice pair of relics for our runners. Meanwhile, I believe this is an Esper here at Search the Sky for Air Force.
Yes, I want to say it was Crusader.
Weak to water and to lightning, as most mechanical bosses are.
Yeah, Throw working pretty well, taking care of those 2 extra bits on the side, which those are usually the nasty parts of Air Force. He's an early game boss, so he doesn't have a ton of HP, but anything that can attack 3 times in a round is scary.
And avert your eyes, it's tentacle on tentacle action here for Knuckly Kong. It's octopus on the bed of pasta down here in the Figaro engine room.
And it's the one with the nasty smile, too.
Oh, he just needs a good dentist. You know how hard it is to find a good dentist?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
All right, Esper number 9 there for Knuckly Kong with Stray. We haven't seen any tier 3 spells, though, so perhaps he's trying to find some offense to dig out for those magic characters, because we only have Fire 3 on Sabin, and that's pretty much it. Oh,
I want to say,
Bolt 2.
Yeah,
Bolt
3, I believe, is on Ifrit.
That's right.
But
that's right.
That one's, it's almost the runner-up prize, right? Like, Fire 3 and Ice 3 are both really good against the final boss, but Bolt 3 is just merely fine. There's no direct, no direct force for it, while Nobody War taking out Air Force himself.
Yeah, that was a close one. Launcher is one of those moves that Air Force uses that basically reduces your party's HP to fractional levels, and it gets very dangerous because he does AoE attacks that can wipe the party at any moment here. Question from the chat about Calmness Protection. I don't believe we've seen it yet.
No, that's true. We've seen a lot of other fun utility spells. I noticed Stop was on one of them, but we do know where Spicy Chicken is, and it's pretty unlikely that Knuckly Kong's going to be going back up there to go fight that.
Yeah, so if we didn't have instant death, we know we do from X-Zone from the Zen Thief. The tools on tier 2 is actually weak to lightning, so if you're ever in a pinch and you need to kill tools without instant death, then you can use it, but 90% of the time, you're not going to have to deal with it. Hey, there is Knuckly Kong's favorite character. Gambling on a character at Ancient Castle, and it pays off here. The question is Umaro coming into the party? And it doesn't look like that is the case.
It is a bit late for him, and haven't found a whole lot of great weapons for someone like Umaro to use, but
oh, no.
Bummer, he's going to have to sit out.
Red Dragon with only Fire 3. Ask me how I feel.
Yeah. Drinks Glue passing his math check, thankfully.
All right, so it looks like Knuckly Kong found an Ice Shield that he's passing around here to learn Ice 2. Would probably have liked to have had that before this fight, but what are you going to do?
At least he's got it on a couple characters.
All right, Nobody War heading through Cyan's Dream here. We'll get 3 Espers at the other side of this, so we'll check back in with him in about 5 or 6 minutes here, as he'll have some access to some decent offense finally at the end of this one here with that Bolt 3 spell.
Wow, this Red Dragon's being a real jerk. Throwing out Grand Train.
Yeah, I think the 3rd or 4th turn, Red Dragon will do some sort of non-elemental AoE thingamahoosit. And depending upon what the scaling is, it could be level 4 Flare, which is not a big deal. Or it could be, something like Grand Train or something worse than that.
Goner comes out when they get really high up there.
Yep. Alright, well, Nobody War didn't listen to Vix or Wedge here and is going to pay the price for hitting the shell. We'll see if Knuckly Kong has a user for that Valiant Knife. I wonder if Umaro can use it. That would be disgusting.
That would be very funny, actually. It's the only one.
Alright, so Drinks Glue makes it out of Daryl's tomb with another Esper there.
So Glue, he is making some progress here. Knuckly Kong is going to be searching around for those 2 characters. We know where they are, but we'll see if Knuckly goes after that. He's already done the Phantom Train, I believe. Oh, maybe not.
Knuckly Kong has not done the Phantom Train.
No, you're right.
Glue has. We did see a Imp sprite at the bottom of Fanatic's Tower, so that means that is an Esper at that check. The Fanatic's Tower is guaranteed character Esper. So Drinks Glue knows if he gets to 7 Espers, he actually gets to 8, buying a ton of Blizzards to throw. So, fun fact about throw is that if you're throwing a weapon that has an elemental property, that also means that elemental property applies to the damage multiplier of the throw. So if something is weak to ice and you throw a blizzard at it, it actually does double damage that it normally would. So stocking up on those is pretty good for targets that are weak to ice. Think like Tiger in the final fight is going to be getting hit very hard in the face with some of those.
Yeah, there's a handful of bosses as well. Ifrit will take extra damage. That we saw Knuckly Kong utilize that, and it looks like Knuckly Kong's taking that same tactic there. Got
it is.
5.5k damage out of that during that Red Dragon fight. So not a bad idea to just have access to a bunch of different elements for your throw user.
All right, so Nobody War past the first fight here in Cyan's Dream is going to get 2 more Espers. Drinks Glue is going to be at 8 Espers at the end of Cyan's Dream here. So he'll just need 1 more character. And we know exactly where he could find that 1 more character. However, he already noped out of Ancient Castle. So I don't think he's going to head all the way back down there.
No, probably not.
Yeah, so what haven't we seen yet? We haven't seen Burning House, Ebbett's Rock, Mount Colts. And I think that's it in terms of checks that can yield characters. Oh, and Velt. The Velt
right,
check.
Yes. Nobody's done the Velt check yet. Nobody's gone up Mount Zozo, but that's a...
And Go-Go's Zone Eater.
Right? Oh, true,
that can also be a character, but Yick.
Yeah, that'll probably be a last-ditch effort for most of our runners. I would imagine Drinks Glue might peek at that at some point, but hopefully Knuckly Kong will think about the Phantom Train before trying to get engulfed.
Yeah, so Knuckly Kong heading back for round 2 with his oh god, I screwed that up so bad with his Pollo Picante, his spicy chicken here. I didn't see if there was a character at the Umaro spot. You can actually peek it in the World of Balance, Narsh, but I don't think any of our runners went up to the second screen there.
Oh, that's true. I guess Kefka at Narsh is another potential spot that there could be a character.
I blocked that out of my mind. Thanks for that one.
It's been happening a lot to me, so I can't stop thinking about it. Like, okay, I need to make sure that I check that at some point. Ouch!
Yeah, Bannon getting smacked in the face with the shrapnel attack.
So Knuckly Kong has a pretty strong party here, but taking decently large amounts of damage from a lot of these magic attacks. I think there's been a handful of elemental shields thrown around, but I know that our runners have been, since they've been so low offense early on, I think they've been cracking them to get through some bosses.
Yeah, it depends. Has he learned Ice 2 on the people that he wants to learn them on or not? Alright, so nobody wore up to the Chad fight, and in this one we have to wait till we see the demon form, and then we light it on fire.
That's the plan. You can also hit it with Pearl, which I did see on, and I saw that on Knuckly Kong's side. Ooh, ouch.
Yeah, I think Pearl might have been one of the spells that we got from one of these Espers here in Dream. It's hard to understate when you get 3 Espers in one spot how many spells can be on them sometimes. It gets a little overwhelming.
Chat suggesting a flag where you have to keep Bandon alive for the whole thing or it's game over. I would prefer not to have to do that, but...
Yeah, no thanks. Because then Bandon would be getting the experience egg.
Right, yeah.
And that's never a good thing.
Level 99 Bandon.
Alright, sets are barely hanging on here.
Yeah, this Poltergeist doing huge amounts of damage with all these counterattacks.
Oh no.
Oh, that was a bad combo.
Oof. Yeah, that is that is a let's try this again moment here.
So yeah, Drinks Glue, I'm noticing in his throw list, he's got a bunch of Airland sets in there as well, so really making sure that Edgar has access to as many elements as possible with his throw command.
Yeah, so that's a wind elemental weapon. You could throw that at the long arm, actually, on tier 1, if you don't instant death it, because that's the weakness of long arm. I don't really think there's very much else that's weak to wind.
I believe magic is on tier 2.
Okay. Then that makes sense as to why he picked up a stack of those as well.
Yeah, that's a good alternative to mute. Just throw knives in his face until he's done. And yeah, Knuckly Kong heading into Ebbett's Rock here.
Yeah,
this is either a really good check or a really bad check for reasons that you're seeing play out on the screen. Those little switches that Knuckly Kong is stepping on are random teleporters to other rooms of the cave.
Yeah, I think this check gets a lot of undue disrespect. It is kind of annoying sometimes when you get, one coral, right? But ever since the change where we teleported people automatically to one of the 3 static rooms once you get 22 or more coral, this has been way better than it used to be. That being said, Knuckly Kong has more checks that are peekable, so this is not really... I wouldn't go for this check, although he's running out of spots that aren't named Phantom Train that he can't do, so...
Yeah, Nobody War going to take a look also. Now, Nobody War does not have maxed out Espers, so looks like he's not going to worry about it anyway.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know what? Sometimes information is just helpful, right? Now he knows, okay, if I get to 7 Espers, I know where an 8th one is. Alright, so Nobody War at almost an hour into the seed is going to get the bad news that this experience egg has been available the whole time. Oh, and hey, he's going to get Kieran as well.
Hey.
So that brings him up to 6 Espers. And Drinks Glue is taking a dive.
Hey, all right. Sending the man himself down back home. He left his hot plate on. He's got to make sure,
I don't know if I trust Go-Go's cooking.
Oh no, it is frozen dinners all the way. My current random theory.
He's like your old grandma that makes homemade like salad dressing, but then puts it in a jar of other salad dressing, and you don't know if it's expired or not because the expiration date has been long overdue. But you have no idea.
Yeah, this jar has 2015 on its date, Grandma. What are we doing here?
Yeah. That's not a story from personal experience or anything.
Tales of food poisoning.
Cookies of cinnamon raisin cookies or oatmeal raisin rather, are the best cookies.
There are some specific. Best is doing that's some work, but.
All right, so we do unfortunately just get Ragnarok the Esper out of the Zone Eater cave, but if you don't take all the chests and you get decent Chancellor RNG like Drinks Glue had, it's really not a terrible check there. Drinks Glue's at 8 bosses killed, but remember, we don't have access to Leet River anyway, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and haven't seen Terra in any of the pathways, so if she is floating around, then she is floating around in Burning House or possibly Kefka at Narsh.
All right,
or the Velt here, which looks like Drinks Glue is going to take that as well.
Yeah, this is new info for us as well. Knuckly Kong here in a race against time on this goddess fight. Using some weight tricking very effectively here, keeping his menu open when actions are not being taken so that that timer doesn't count down over the head.
Yeah, this goddess fight has been very stinky. She's been using all of her little delay tactics.
Hey, and there it is.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, Setzer's looking a little worse for the wear there.
May have inhaled a little bit too much steam.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the zombie status is basically equivalent to your character being dead, so no XP there for Setzer on that fight, and unfortunately, that's Esper number 10 for Knuckly Kong. So yeah, oh boy, are we getting a Casa? Are we really getting a Casa del Fuego before Phantom Train? Come on, don't do this to me.
Meanwhile, Drinks Glue finding character number 8 as Mog there in the on the Velt.
Okay, so that's going to be Drinks Glue's go mode there.
That's right. He can go in soon. His characters are decently powered. It looks like he's going to take on an Opera Dragon real quick first, while Knuckly Kong is finally heading into the Phantom Train and is going to find his pathway to the end of the game.
Okay, thank goodness. Maybe he just saved outside of Burning House in case, because
that's a good idea, actually. Yeah,
you peek this, and if it's not here, then you do, because he was down to basically those 2 checks, other than Kefka at Narsh, finding Gao here as his 7th character. Meanwhile, Nobody War buying the Rust Rid, and let's see what he spikes out of here, because we didn't see this check either. Can get a high tier item from the dragon, and it looks like he's doing it to learn some spells as well. Drinks Glue, meanwhile, like you said, going to take the Opera House Dragon. His levels are pretty low. His Edgar is 42, but the rest of his party is in the lower 30s. So.
Okay. Left the experience egg on the one character.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the checks we sort of did, right? We've done a bunch of free checks. We've done the Velt check, and Cyan's Dream number 3 doesn't require a boss to get through it, and then Zone Eater is another check that we don't need to fight. So a lot of non-confrontational checks this seed to get our requirements.
Yeah, really making it tough to get that boss level up to 12. But as mentioned earlier, we don't have access to Terra, so that skip is sadly going to not take place. It looks like in this race.
Yeah. So Drinks Glue. See there, you see the power of the Blizzard. The Gold Dragon, I believe, is weak to water, so the Water Edge is technically the weakness here, but that Blizzard sword doing a lot of damage because of that ice elemental property that it has.
Plus, Edgar's strength is naturally a fair bit higher than his magic.
Yep. Alright, so meanwhile, on Nobody War's side, we get a Pearl Dragon, so this means we are definitely getting a Pearl Lance, hopefully that Gao can use. And we'll see what else we get. We get another offering there for Drinks Glue. And can Mog use that Valiant Knife?
Oh, I don't believe he's checked.
I don't think we checked. I don't think he cares. I think his party's kind of set at this point.
I might be misremembering, but I think he actually sold it early on to buy a bunch of Blizzard swords.
Oh, okay.
Which is an insane thing to say, but in this particular case, it wasn't even necessarily a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need... How many did he buy? Like 20? You don't need 20.
No.
He's just going nuts here. You don't need to... No.
What
stop.
in the...
Just get out of here. You're wasting time now.
He's shuffling now. He's
just buying the most high battle power item he can to just yeet at everything.
Bro is fiddling.
Fiddly bits.
He's fiddling around.
Meanwhile, that dragon did drop a Pro Lance that unfortunately Gao couldn't use, but also dropped a Minerva, so that'll be nice for Nobody Wars team, and we'll see what this free check is at the end of Mount Zozo here. Somebody in the chat agreed with you that he sold the Valiant Knife.
Okay.
Well, yeah, if you can't use it, then you might as well sell it, right?
It's usually worth 3,000+, so I get that, but...
You can't take it with you.
So, okay, Knuckly Kong went up to Narsh to see what was behind Poltergeist there, and it was not a character, so... So now we know that both of Gao's options have characters in them, so whichever one Knuckly Kong decides to do first is going to pay off for him.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, so fixed ice definitely would have helped our runners at the start, because we did start... Did we start with Setzer?
Yes.
No. Yes? Are you sure?
I believe so.
It was Sabin
right, because they went
and Cyan and...
Strago and Setzer, because a lot of them went to Kolingen first off.
That's right. Yes,
and got that Thunder Shield.
Yes. So fixed ice would have been really helpful earlier on in the seed. It's not nearly as helpful now, but it's better than whatever the heck Setzer was doing before for Nobody War. So we're gonna keep on continuing that.
Yeah, I think he was on his way to learning some level 3 spells, but up until this point, he had been mostly just casting Bolt and Fire 2.
All right, I wonder if Knuckly Kong has dried meat in his inventory. Let's see. Nope. So he's not going to be able to do the Velt check here. So what does he have? He's got...
he still has
Burning House, Serpent
Burning
Trench,
House and Serpent
Colts.
Trench.
Mount Colts.
Looks like he's going with Mount Colts,
exactly where he's going.
This is new information.
Yes. I think I'm playing Glue's audio, but I barely hear it, so let me crank that up a little bit.
All right, Drinks Glue. While we get his audio in, he is making his way through the Kefka Tower. This is the final dungeon. It's a bit of a walk, although it is kind of funny thinking about normal RPG feelings, and a long walk in a dungeon is like 5 minutes in this randomizer. But without access to skip, it's just what you got to do. Really thinking hard about going in this door, though.
I think he just realized that he was in one of the chats. All right, so Nobody War getting the good news that we've got Nesper over here. So this will be his 8th actually. Did not find the offering, but the offering we know is in.
The train,
the Phantom Train. So
yeah,
Nobody War unfortunately is not going to be able to get the offering there. Where was the offering that Glue found? It was on a dragon, right? Opera House Dragon.
Yes. Okay, yeah, Opera Dragon. Man, that just happened too.
Yes, we
totally forgot about it.
We're paying attention, we swear. Meanwhile, Speaking of
got the Yeti.
emotes, yeah, here we go. Dab him if you got him. And we have access to fire, so this Umaro is not going to be a problem. Just the same way that Ultros 2 is not a problem for Drinks Glue there.
He's been a little rude with some of the single target physical attacks, but that Fire 3 from Saban took him out. So, yeah, meanwhile, Nobody War did pass his math check early on, but Doomgaze is a tough customer pretty much no matter what. Even if you do have access to all that. Oh, shoot, I missed it.
It was Bismarck. So Knuckly Kong at 7 and 11.
Oof.
So Knuckly Kong is going to either have to do Burning House or find some dried meat, right?
I think,
what was at the end of
Serpent Trench had Go-Go at it.
Oh, okay. All right, so Knuckly Kong should be able to get their go mode here then. Because he's not doing Burning House.
At this point, no. I mean, there's so many better options. Meanwhile, Drinks Glue, I almost called him Doomgaze for some reason. Drinks Glue has gotten both of his characters up there, so he just has to get this first party up that center, and then he is going to start fighting himself some boss rushes.
You know, if you look at it kind of fast, it's like a DG, Drinks Glue, Doomgaze. It's almost the same thing. Like,
there's similar sounds. I won't feel too bad about this one, but I just didn't want to denigrate my good friend Drinks Glue in such a way by implying that he's half of a skeleton monster.
Drinks Gaze.
Drinks Gaze. Doom Glue.
Oh, Doom Glue is much better. Where can I find that in Home Depot, and what does it fix?
It is discontinued.
Take that, Phil Swift.
Nobody War getting his 8th best.
Yep.
So he is also looking for a couple characters at this point. So it looks like...
And unfortunately, he's not going to find it here.
No.
He's got to go back for that Three Stooges fight, I think. Right? Oh, no,
No, he did the dream. It looks like he's missing...
He didn't do Velt. He didn't do Velt.
Yes. Didn't do the Velt check, and... where's the other one I'm thinking of?
Well, he did Serpent Trench, because he's got Go-Go, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And Velt is Mog, right?
Yes.
And then, yeah, Baron Falls is that throw Edgar that he's missing.
That's correct. It's Baron Falls. Okay. Right, the little piranha.
And he never went back because it was Three Stooges, and that's not a fight you ever want to actually do.
No. Even later on in the game, they've got pretty tough magic, and we have noticed some pretty high damage values for magic attacks in this fight. Yeah, hey, that guard's getting his licks in.
I like Chadius. Doom Glue. Do not apply Doom Glue to any piece of wood with a length divisible by 5.
Ooh,
Doom
yeah.
Glue.
Look, just trust us, okay?
Doom Glue. If it's 20 feet long, it's 0 feet long now.
A ghost comes down from the sky and pulls your wood soul out of its body. Meanwhile, Drinks Glue, while we're sitting here yucking around, Drinks Glue is just chewing through these bosses. Ifrit went down quite quickly earlier, and now Edgar's throwing all these Blizzard Swords that they picked up for huge damage against Atma here.
Yeah, like I mentioned, elemental properties. Atma is weak to the 3 main elements, so with that weakness, that means every time Edgar throws something, it's actually double damage.
I just noticed his ATB bar, that speed +2 Esper they found early on, must have been sitting on Edgar for most of that game.
He is flying. Interestingly, Drinks Glue did this in... is Gowan his final party or no?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so Glue did this in another seed that we've seen him run recently, where he just sent his strongest character up the middle as a single party, and then normally you would not do this because the bottlenecks are the middle path, right? But if you have a throw character, you can sort of get away with it. And this allows you to maybe make up some time by having 2 characters on one of these side bosses if one of the side bosses is rude. Because you'd normally only have 1 character against them. Like this fight here is rude.
And unfortunately, it looks like Go-Go is by himself.
Yeah,
Drinks so decided to rethink his strategy before going into that one.
Yeah, that tentacles fight is not fun. And oh no, nobody wore. Come on, no.
Gonna find Esper number 10 up here at the top.
Yeah.
Knuckly Kong, though, making his way through the Serpent Trench.
You know what, though? He needs the level, so good on him.
Honestly, yeah. Yeah, I think Umaro is the one up here, so that shouldn't be too tough of a fight.
No, not with all the fire magic that we have. So the maximum scaling level is 45, so that basically happens when we get to 18 total pieces of progression, and Nobody War is at 16 total pieces of progression, so he's almost at max scaling now. There it is, Knuckly Kong unlocking Final Kefka with his 8th character. And it looks like Drinks Glue applying some Marvel shoes here to Go-Go, some nice heads-up play. So there are 4 different statuses that Marvel shoes give. Kurzman, what are they?
Well, they are Region, which you just saw with the 35, 34 there, that just bumps out of him, which is handy, but, you know, Region's probably not going to be much of a make or break. It applies both Safe and Shell, which will reduce physical and magic damage, respectively. And most importantly for this fight, it applies Haste, which Haste has the extra property of making you immune to slow, and the tentacles have to slow you before they can grab onto you there, so very smart heads-up play from Drinks Glue to just nope out of the fight right away and make sure that his damage dealer isn't going to be harassed by these extremely obnoxious noodles.
Yeah, the grabby pasta, as I like to call them here, because this fight can just take forever. It's one of the worst ones you could run into in KT, because not because you're ever in danger of dying, right? It's just a time waste.
Yeah, at the end of the game, it's a big shame, especially in KT, because, you know, like you said, if you've only got 1 character there that can do anything, and they get grabbed, then you're just pretty much screwed. And then early on in the game, it can be pretty rough too, because that when they grab you, they drain you for roughly about like 40 to 60 HP a turn. And early on in the game, that's way worse than it is later on.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, Knuckly Kong, meanwhile, heading into Kefka's Tower, and his levels are way higher than Drinks Glue's, so we'll see if that translates into a much faster fight for, or fights rather, for him, because Knuckly Kong's got basically a whole KT to catch up on for Drinks Glue here.
He could gain some time if he manages to get through this tentacle fight a little bit faster, but considering Drinks Glue was the one to put his superpower character up the middle, we'll see if Knuckly Kong is doing the same thing. It looks like, I guess Go-Go wasn't part of his main team, so he just picked that guy up.
Yeah, so he's going to have his Throw and Go-Go character on that side, so that'll be really good for Knuckly Kong. Meanwhile, Umaro, for Nobody War, heading up actually into the air, so didn't have enough punching power for this fight here, unfortunately.
Ooh, going to catch an Ice 3, too. Fortunately, his magic is bad.
Well, fun fact, Umaro actually has the 3rd highest base magic power stat in Final Fantasy VI. It's too bad he can't really use that stat for anything. So
it's cruel.
Oh god, look at this disgustingness.
Yes, but thankfully we got a lot of X-Zone floating around, and all 3 of these nasty customers can be sent into the void to go hang out with Gilgamesh.
Yeah, we got a confused stopped Mog. And there it is. Again, nice heads-up play there from Mr. Glue.
That worked out pretty well, actually.
All right, so Nobody War heading into the Returner's hideout. Unfortunately, we do not have access to the Leet River. He needs more Phoenix Downs.
And
he's just saying, all right, see you later, guy.
Yep, bye-bye. What's in this pot? I'm gonna take what you got in there. That's nothing.
Oh, where's Guardian? Oh, Guardian.
It's the Inferno spot.
Oh,
drinks. Yeah, drinks glue just melted. Yep, me too. Drinks glue just melted right through it in like a minute.
The power of Bolt 3, right?
I think that was the Edgar, so I think he was flinging bolt edges at him.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, stepped on those switches at around 1:20:55. Drinks glue's first one there.
Oh, okay. Nobody War is going to be doing our Kefka at Narsh Peak here. This is some new information for us as well.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up being up here. I think
I hope it's a character. Let's get him back into this race here.
I hope it's Terra. I've got my fingers crossed for Terra being up here, and then maybe another character being under Leet River or something nice to give Nobody War a chance to gain some ground here.
Yeah, if you get Terra, are you going immediately to the Leet River though?
I would for the check. Let's see how many bosses he's got.
All right. Well, that is not a character there, so
nope.
We're heading back, and let's see how many bosses does he have. We have 2 from Dream, 1 from Siege. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 bosses. So not a lot of bosses.
Not quite.
All right. Final fight for Drinks Glue, Tier 1. I don't think we have Calmness Protection. I don't think we have Mute. However, we do have Instant Death, as you just saw. So that is Long Arm saying goodbye. And Face is weak to fire, so we're going to kill it with fire here. Because we don't want yet another Earthquake on stream.
No, yeah, one per night, please. So yeah, the nasty part about all of these final bosses is they tend to have weird counterattacks or death counters. In this case, if you kill Face last, he'll use a Quake on the entire party, which with Drinks Glue's HP, Gogo might be in danger, but everybody else will probably survive it, but they would not be going up into the next fight happy.
So, we do have Phantom, so
that's true.
That is what Drinks Glue is going to use as Calmness Protection here.
Risky, but it's, best option at this point.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. Well, I don't know. That's not necessarily true all the time.
In that very, very pinhole specific instance, it is better than nothing.
Yeah. It's weird because if you mistime it, you do way more damage than it helps you out.
Yeah, because Meteo just guarantees smacks you in the face. Knuckly Kong taking a dragon along the way. I'm not sure if he needs this, but maybe he's feeling a little bit shaky about Bannon's levels.
Yeah, our bosses are level 45, right? Because we are maxed out at scaling for sure. So it becomes... Bosses are going to be a bit more difficult in Kefka's Tower because we don't have our full party like we do for all of the other bosses here. And with the last green cherry, Drinks Glue is going to unimp Bannon there. And here's where you'll see, Turdsman, the power of the blizzards on against.
Yeah,
Tiger.
looking forward to that.
Or not, or the power of X Zone compels you.
It doesn't seem to be compelling tools very much there. That target in the middle is weak to instant death in this particular fight, and X Zone has a pretty low accuracy rate, unfortunately, but still a really good use of your time, especially with a character that doesn't have anything else to do. There we go.
Yeah, that's the annoying part, because the thing is, Tiger's not going to last very long. The quad 9's coming out there for the blizzard. And then the ice rod too. So Tiger is weak to ice. The tools is instant deathable. And magic is mutable, but unfortunately I don't think we have it. Or Siren.
No. And then hit can be afflicted with stop, but I mean,
yeah.
Honestly,
you're wasting a turn if you do
right.
That.
Yeah, it's hard to understand if that would ever be worth your time.
No. If you need to stop hit, then you shouldn't be in the final fight.
Oh, I was completely wrong about Guardian. Where in the world was that guy?
Yeah, so Guardian must have been the Toilet Atmos spot because I think Knuckly fought that boss plus the dragon for some extra levels.
Mm-hmm.
And Ultros 2 was our Inferno fight here. And there goes Ultros 2. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Oh! Double kill.
Ooh. Yeah, meanwhile, nobody wore. Dealing with
Halo impression. Kilimanjaro. I'm
a big fan of multi-kill. I guess like Quake or something. I don't remember.
Yes.
Oh no, Quake. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't say Quake.
We're gonna have to edit that out. I'm really sorry.
It's one of those Doom clones.
A run and gun. So Drinks Glue is did some pretty good work on those first two, but with Magic being able to cast all of these spells, it is taking a little bit more time to get through this tier.
Yeah, I don't think he's in danger really, because Magic spells are not really all that powerful. They're just time wasty.
Yeah, it's more obnoxious than anything.
Oh boy. Nobody wore holding on here, but Larry will run away eventually if he's left by himself, so let's see if Larry gets the hint and take a long walk off the short pier.
Yeah. Yeah, come on, buddy.
Alright, yeah. Life 2 is definitely the way to go there.
So, okay, looks like Magic went down, and Drinks Glue is setting up Vanish on everybody to get through 10 hit, which is that big blue guy in the front. That is what he does when he is the last... no, it's not when he's the last, it's just whenever he dies.
Correct, yeah, it's just the death counter.
So applying Vanish makes it just all whiff. He doesn't do a lot of damage with it, but it takes a lot longer than you want it to take for all of those hits to register.
Yeah, so I don't know if individually casting Vanish on everybody was actually going to save us frames here. But remember, he's saving that Phantom Summon for the real, which is coming up next in Tier 3. So now that we've got our 10 hits, you want to talk a little bit about Tier 3 here?
Sure. This is the scary one. There are two pieces to this particular tier. There is going to be another little Kefka clone statue thing in the front that is known as Sleep. It will use a bunch of nasty attacks. Its physical attack is particularly dangerous. But the worst part about this fight is that floating head behind it named Lady. Now, that thing has 9,999 HP exactly.
Oh, no.
And, uh-oh. Everybody's vanished, so this is going to hit them all.
Yeah, this is why you don't... Yeah.
Yeah, it would be that or Merton. But as you just saw, it uses Pearl Wind, and it will also use Life 2 on the part in the front, so you gotta get rid of that one first. But once you do, you can start whittling away the HP of the front. Once it gets down to, I want to say it's like 10,328 HP or something like that, it will start countering everything with Meteo or Train, which Meteo does a bunch of damage to everybody. It is unmitigatable, but it has low accuracy. And then Train will inflict Mute and Blind on all of the characters. Two nasty effects, both of which can really mess you up and completely reset your momentum.
Yeah, and in Worlds Collide, we did fix the evade bug, so Blind does matter.
Yeah, Blind matters a lot. Maybe not so much in this one. Mute is a little bit scarier since Throw is
for this party
Blind.
comp. Yeah, definitely.
But
all right, nobody wore checking the throne, and that is a Force armor for him.
We didn't need to pay attention to that earlier.
Yeah, no, I knew it was a dead check. I just didn't know what it was going to be. So
had a fun another desperation attack over there on Knuckly Kong's stream. Got to see Cyan's weird little crescent slash.
Oh, I completely missed that. Unfortunate. All right, so Drinks Glue counting damage knows that we just had a Meteo counter. So it looks like Edgar is going to go throw his strongest weapon here, and we're going to hope to do enough damage to get Calmness to come out, and since we're vanished, all physical attacks, which is what Calmness is, it's a physical special, will always miss. The the downside of that is if you don't actually kill Sleep there, he will counter or may counter with Medio, and since your entire party is vanished, that means that Medio will hit every single party member.
Yep, that is the downside of Vanish, is that it makes all incoming magic attacks fully accurate. That is how you could get away with that weird Vanish Doom bug in the original game.
Which we've also fixed.
Yep.
Which,
right. I understand it, but that's a shame, because that one rules.
Yeah, I mean, not every single boss can be hit with Vanish, so yeah, it is one of those things where if the boss is vulnerable to it, then yeah, it's an easy win, but most of the harder bosses aren't, so... Alright, so
wow.
Drinks Glue gonna go ahead and get down to a naked Kefka fight, it seems.
Yeah, he's stripping everything off to throw at this guy. Threw a Megas Rod at him, took a Sword Breaker off.
Throwing shields. Oh,
hey, sketching him. This is great.
Yeah, so...
Taste of your own medicine, you jerk.
So you cannot naturally learn Ultimate in this seed, but you can sketch Kefka for Ultimate. And unfortunately, we didn't do over 30,000 damage in this first turn, so we're getting Fallen 1 here. If you do over 30,000 damage, when Kefka will then go into a counterattack phase, where he may counterattack with Hyperdrive or Havoc Wing, so we'll see if that happens. And then here is his charge up for his ultimate attack called Goner. During this phase, you get 1 turn to basically do damage to him without counterattacks. So it looks like Drinks Glue opting for Sketch of Ultima. Looks like we're going to get a Shield Break and a Mimic, and then he's going to heal up his team, because I don't know if he'll survive Goner if this doesn't kill Kefka here.
Yeah, I'm curious if he's been counting, because I noticed he did wait to dedicate his health user until the last second, so maybe he was counting. That might be good. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, so one of the other great usages of the speed plus Esper, you saw how fast Edgar and Bannon were going, so you could potentially take 2 turns there before Goner actually goes off. And Drinks Glue is tonight's winner. 1:32:38 is the official time. Get your GGs in chat for Drinks Glue, and you could also tell him in his stream. As Nobody War, unfortunately, getting the bad news that he's got to keep looking for his next character.
Yeah, did decide to go down into the basement, even though he saw the ghost sprite. But
oh no, not another earthquake, Setzer! No!
Why does this keep happening?
Oh no, Setzer! Oh no!
Yo, Marshall showing up tonight.
Oh no! It's a travesty, folks.
Don't mess with Mother Earth, she don't play.
Yeah.
So, alright, Nobody War did get an Esper from that last one, but is going to take the trip down into the ancient castle to find their Umaro, thankfully.
Yeah, we'll bring Drinks Glue in for an interview here. We are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the first place finisher in tonight's Elite River Rally. How are your arms feeling from all that paddling, Drinks Glue? And I wasted a great job. Oh, there he is.
I was going to say, they're a little sore, that between throwing things, for the past hour. They're a little sore.
Yeah, how's your elbow, man? That's just oof.
I'm just thankful
he's
that...
gonna need some Tommy John surgery. Let's see a second opinion here.
Yeah, I'm just thankful that Edgar existed, because if Edgar doesn't exist, you're still probably casting Ball 2 somewhere.
Yeah, that's what Nobody War ran into, is that he bounced off the Stooges fight, I think not once but twice, and was like, I'll come back later if I have to, and unfortunately he had to. So it's a bit rough if you don't get that Edgar early. So you load up your seed, you see your cast of characters with Sketch and Steel and Control and Health, and what are you thinking?
Stay still, my beating heart. No, it was, that's about as rough of a start as you could hope for, especially with the characters you had, because all the characters that you start with, other than Fixed Dice, they can't wear any of the S-Tier vanilla gear by default, So it was just, let's go see what Setzer's one free check I have is, and it was a Thunder Shield. And that's okay, cool, whatever. Then there were some Pearl Rods to be had. There were some Thunder Rods to be had. But there wasn't much else until you came across that Edgar.
So before I finish the questions here, let's talk about what Knuckly Kong is trying to do here with this Ifrit Shiva fight. So you can actually run away from Ifrit Shiva in the transition between Ifrit and Shiva. However, Ifrit only changes over to Shiva after you've attacked them 5 times. So Knuckly Kong, I don't think, has attacked Ifrit once. So we're gonna have Ifrit until further notice. So it's kind of hard to pull off this runaway trick because you have to have a full ATB, but then you also have to have attacked one of the bosses, right? So it's kind of tricky timing. Anyway.
And I think it has to be physical, like the fight command, correct? It can't. That's not any
correct.
Attack. Yeah.
That's correct. And I think Gao had jump, right? So I guess that would count, and capture would count too. So there we go.
As long as one person gets away, he can just let Ifrit. Like if Sabin gets away, then Gao can just die, and then he's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just wanted to explain that mechanic real fast. Speaking of mechanics, the Go-Go and the Marvel Shoes, very nice heads-up play. The second race in a row where we had tentacles in Kefka's Tower that you had to sort of find out a fun way to finagle around there.
Yeah, thank goodness for those Marvel Shoes, or else that would have been a long fight because each one was going to take like 3 or 4 single targets on the Shuriken. And yeah, that's just going to be that was going to be more fun on top of so much fun already. So
the only time that anybody's ever glad to see Marvel Shoes. So yeah, let's talk about, other than the really bad start, what is sort of your philosophy on this Elite River flag set, with starting with 4 characters, and you mentioned wanting to go get some free checks to start. What else is sort of part of your decision making for your opening route here?
It's a little rough because, one, when you start with 4 characters, you obviously have 4 characters worth of checks, right? But one of them is always Strago, and you really don't want to ever do Strago's checks if you can help it, because they're all long and awful, and they're just not conducive to winning races. So then you throw Sabin on top of that, who has access to 5 checks, and then Doma Dream, which you don't want to commit to a multi-part check like that when you can't get through it or comfortably. And then you had Zetzer's one possible check where there'd be a character, and then it was really, really going to be just turned into a character search, right? Because you had a lot of checks that you wanted to do, and then a lot of checks you didn't want to do. So it was just hope the characters kind of were on the path where you wanted to do the checks, right? And that they're at places like Barren Falls or Doma Siege, and not at Burning House or Ebbett's Rock or Daryl's Tomb, and just kind of go from there. Eventually I reached the point where it was, Belt, Zone Eater, or Strago's checks, and then fortunately it ended up being at the Belt.
Yep, because we haven't seen Burning House, but it wasn't at Ebbett's Rock, and it wasn't at Fanatic's Tower, which you beat. So.
Yeah, or Kefka at Narsh, I think.
Or Kefka at Narsh, either, yeah. All right, so Knuckly Kong does get through with that fight with jump and the fixed dice. And since Sabin ran away from that fight, he actually doesn't get the XP from it either.
That was kind of a situation where it was like a plan F, It was Knuckly Kong went through the whole Rolodex of what to do when you can't hit Ifrit, and wound up with a single character jumping with fixed dice.
Yep.
Nice. Where were the fixed dice? I guess they were on the... I guess I remember at some point in time I've got to go check the throne.
I think they were actually just in a chest somewhere.
So Knuckly Kong's fixed dice was from one of the KT dragons, and then Nobody War's fixed dice was from Mount Zozo. So you could have had it had you gone to Mount Zozo early on, right? But that's another one of those. It's a longer check. You need to find warp stones in order to get the heck out of there without feeling bad, man. And Nobody War buying 70-something dried meats tells us how he feels about the belt check. And another Quake.
Oh
this
my
time
goodness.
it's for real on from Atma. Where the heck was I going with that? Oh,
no free progression and the merits
yeah.
of it.
Yeah. So that's one of those longer no free progression checks that you kind of want to do the dragon there if you're going to go there, right? We didn't really have the offense to do anything for a while.
Yeah, Zozo and Ancient Castle are kind of big no-nos for this, because the nice thing about no free progression is you know where all your pieces of progression are, right? With the amount of checks out there, there's only 2 spots that will be dead, and so by default, you know, you're only running across 2 dead checks. Eventually, you'll find all your characters and espers out in the world as long as you avoid the no free progression spots. You still want to do them earlier on because you get more value out of those items the more you take them. But once you've kind of, you know, settled, even if you only have one really good character, right? Once you're kind of more settled in, you just kind of want to avoid those.
Yeah, so if you get an experience egg early on, it's way better than, let's say, Nobody War getting it at 1 hour into the seed. That's for sure.
Yeah, if I can jump in with a quick update on Knuckly Kong, took care of Atma there, Toilet Atma at the that in the middle statue slot. Unfortunately, Sabin went down in that fight as well, so Gao managed to pull it out by jumping with the fixed dice again, and has jumped up to level 40. So
there you go.
One of the silver linings in that whole debacle was that now he's got a pretty good 5th character. So if he can't quite pull off a Phantom, then he'll at least have a decent backup coming in to do some damage.
Oh, you also did the 1 character up the middle philosophy here on this one. Is that just because you were like, well, Edgar's so strong that he doesn't need a 2nd character here, and let's just get him to as many levels as I possibly can for throw?
Yeah, I mean, Edgar's going to fight. Let's just let Edgar fight the 3 fights. I went to Albrook right before I went in the tower because I didn't have non-elemental stuff Edgar could throw, and then also by default Go-Go could throw. So fortunately they had Shurikens and I think I got Stout Spears and something else.
Yeah, you spent a lot of money on some strange weapons.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, no, I remember the blizzards, because blizzards are pretty useful as a throwing item,
Sure.
just because they got ice staple to them. It was kind of redundant though, because pretty much anything that absorbs ice or is weak to ice is also absorbs wind or is weak to wind. So I had air knives already, but whatever, blizzards are cool.
Yeah, it was definitely cool seeing those big damage numbers.
Cool. Throwing swords is cool.
Yeah. But if I don't go by those shurikens, it was just buy whatever was there. If I had to buy man-eaters to throw or scimitars, I was going to have to buy those. And the Go-Go was going to throw one and mimic it through his fight. And then if Edgar ran into Magimaster or something else that I couldn't get through with blizzards or air knives, then so be it. That's what you have to throw. I was pretty fortunate on the final fight because Saban had 0 MP, and I only had 1 tincture, and I used it on him because he was the one with Phantom, right?
Oh wow!
And then Phantom cost exactly 50 MP to summon.
That's crazy. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it was getting pretty hectic near the end. We were looking around. I wanted to ask about mentioning those the dead checks in the early game. Is there a particular thing that you're looking for in the beginning that'll just reset your entire thought of what your early game is going to be, or are you pretty set on getting multiple ones to supplement your gear?
With the stronger item pool, so you're down to 19 items, but they're the best of the best, right? Well, it depends on your thoughts about Behemoth Suit and a few other things. But it's mainly you're hoping that you find something you can either use now or use later for offense, and then use now is your Illumina's Ragnaroks, and then later is your Valiant Knife and Atma weapons, right? And the seed would have been a lot more promising if, like, you know, that was an Atma weapon instead of a Thunder Shield, and say even Cyan could wear it, because then you at least knew offense was coming. So I had a lot of monster boxes to check, so I knew I had a decent shot at finding Katana Soul eventually. But then, if somebody could wear that, offense is coming. But really, until that point where you've, again, had Edgar and then his throw, really there was nothing on the table you could do except just go buy more rods and hope the next boss you fight doesn't absorb lightning.
Yeah, because even more frustratingly, right, I think you had either 7 or 8 characters and you got a Valiant Knife from somewhere that absolutely nobody could use, and it was just like, even the one thing I could use, it's just doing nothing in my inventory now.
Yeah, that was from the Poltergeist, but I was super excited when I saw that, because I was like, even if Cyan can wear this, Cyan's like 10 levels behind, but that's fine, we'll take care of that himself. He just has to get up to, 1,500, 2,000 a swing, and I had a red cap. But then not even Cyan could wear it, so it was just a real gut punch there.
Well, you know what they say, you can't spell Cyan without see ya. Those are all the questions that I sort of had. So, Tersman, you have any other follow-ups?
No, I think we covered it.
Glue, you got anything going on later this week, or any other words you want to talk about for this flag set or this race in particular?
I do want to casually throw out there that tomorrow night we have another sync race. We're actually sync racing the Seed of the Week on RPG Limit Break, starring Double Down and a to-be determined opponent. So that'd be pretty cool. This Seed of the Week is called Dance Dance Revolution, so it's very heavily themed on the dance ability, which we were not blessed with tonight, but tomorrow we will for sure be blessed with it. And yeah, should be a good one.
Alright, Nobody War doing the runaway strat against different Shiva, so that's how it's done, folks. Very nice to see that. And yeah, that DDR seed should be really exciting. I'm interested to see what that is all about and how that will play out.
Alright, well, thank you guys for doing comms tonight, and thank you for SpeedGaming for allowing us to play video games with our friends in front of an audience and do shenanigans. So thank you guys, and hope everybody has a good night.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Glue, for running. Can't have the races without the runners, of course. And
absolutely,
we're still doing the outro on his stream, while Knuckly Kong is up to tier number 2 here.
Lots of poison going around. This is a very weird magic. He isn't really using it much of the big nasty spells here, but adding little annoying things here and there more than doing huge damage. Bringing out the ant dot.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you gotta just do what you gotta do here.
So, meanwhile, Nobody War taking out Toilet Atma as well. Got some lower level spells and shurikens, and here comes the light surrounding Atma. So we'll see what attack comes out. I believe this is is it Quasar in the original?
Oh, I don't know.
I kind of forget this guy.
Well,
I mean, I've got everybody.
Optional boss, right? So
yeah, and I got everybody, multi-casting, double casting Ultima at this point in the main game.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's like nothing is getting in my way.
All right, so Knuckly Kong recovering very nicely there, using Osmos in order to absorb some MP. So Osmos, I think, costs 1 MP, but he had exactly 0, so he had to get some MP back with Sabin somehow there.
Yeah, I used an Ether to get a little bit back, and then Osmos to fill up the rest.
All right. Meanwhile, Nobody War is done with his middle path here, so we'll see how he handles the Tentacles in on the left-hand side.
So yeah, let's see, who did he end up with over there? Looks like Sabin is on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and we got our jumping Gao, and we have our fixed dice Setzer here.
I kind of like this. It's not every day that you end up equipping your extra characters as they come along, but since Nobody War found so many of them so late, they're kind of decently leveled. You know, that Gao is level 33 compared to his Setzer's 38, so gonna be putting in a decent amount of work here.
Well,
although
not
okay,
exactly.
Never mind.
So yeah, the thing is, if I don't remember where the heck Phantom was, so our runners might not have access to combo's protection if they don't have Phantom, because I didn't see Life 3 flying. Yeah, we have Life 2, but not Life 3. So maybe Nobody War is saying, I don't have combo's protection, or at least not reliable combo's protection. Let me prep a 5th backup character just in case later on. That's usually what I like to do anyway, is just say, yeah, I know that trouble might be ahead.
Right, yeah. So at the very least you're not caught, you know, with maybe even dead characters down the line.
Yeah, let's see if we have X-Zone here. No, we unfortunately do not.
And Knuckly Kong taking care of this business. Unfortunately, had to deal with that Life 3. Yeah.
The best thing that Magic can do.
Yeah, it's really annoying. But here comes 10 hits.
Yeah, and this shouldn't be a problem because since he did so many checks, his levels are so high, his characters have so much HP that this is not a problem here.
No.
Alright, so this should hopefully do it for Nobody War against Marshall. Getting unlucky with the dice rolls here. So this is why, you know, I like to transition off of fixed dice towards the end of the seed, because you're more likely to hit the floor than the ceiling in terms of damage here.
Mm-hmm. The floor does raise up, but it does not raise up as high as you want it to.
No. Opening Merton out here for Knuckly Kong, and his party has mostly got elemental protection on. What'll be interesting is to see what he does against Girl, because as you mentioned, Turdsman, Girl absorbs all elements, so we can't use magic, which is what we had been doing for most of the battle with our other 3 characters, so it's going to be up to Edgar, it looks like, to just yeet stuff at the problem.
Yep, just hurl all those weapons you're never going to use.
And there it is. One more
just
of those,
barely, but there we
go.
Good.
Yeah.
Setzer trying to see if they can't sneak a Ragnarok off of this guy before he moves on.
Yeah, that would be...
Oh, it's the Atma weapon.
Yeah, the Ragnarok is from Girl, the Atma weapon is from that dude there. And unfortunately, Sabin cannot use it. Big surprise.
That would have been
Sabin's equipable pool is usually pretty bad.
Yeah, that would have been a really fantastic end game swerve for him there, since he's not really doing a ton of damage at this point.
Yeah, so Sabin's magic is usually and he does have that Fire 3 that he learned naturally, but not doing a heck of a lot otherwise.
Yeah, I guess judging on the curve of Sabin's magic power, 5,000 damage from a Fire 3 is not too terrible.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Alright, so let's see how Nobody War deals with the tentacles. Does know that the bottom left is weak to fire, so he's going to go ahead and throw out a couple of those spells. The bottom right absorbs fire, so he can't exactly do that. And, yeah, this is where the grabby pasta gets to be annoying. Yeah, now we're just wasting time. Sabin's not in danger of dying. It's just, yeah, we're gonna reset. Hopefully, he still has the Marvel shoes as well and puts that on Sabin, and that would be a much better fight. Or perhaps equips Gogo's menu with that throw command.
So an interesting tactic here from Knuckly Kong, using Edgar, re-equipping him with the Atma weapon to do a little bit of extra damage, and then throwing out Phantom. Unfortunately, using Quick on Sabin after that, which that will sadly dispel that vanish status. So
yeah, come on, Knuckly. Oh no. Yeah, so unfortunately his team's not in danger of dying. They will eat the Meteo there, but yeah, it probably would have been better to just use the Phantom and then just have Edgar yeet a sword at the problem there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Nobody War going to go ahead and reset out of the tower there. Doesn't have faith in his Sabin on that side to complete the mission. But the good news is he's defeated all the other bosses, so that means he can send his full party at the tentacles to go ahead and chop them down.
Yeah, and he'll definitely be able to take care of him with that.
All right, so unfortunately we lost Edgar, and in the base game, usually this just means, hey, you get someone in off the bench to substitute when someone's dead in between tiers. However, in Worlds Collide, we basically have only been using 4 characters the whole time, right? So having somebody coming off the bench, or in this case, the corpse of Cyan, is not ideal. So
No.
We'll see how Knuckly Kong deals with this. He should have enough damage between the other 3 characters, but it's just a bummer because that Edgar was his best sense of damage here.
Consistently doing close to, if not the damage cap, whereas everybody else is getting roughly around half of that. Sabin has a level 3 spell. Bannon seems to be relegated mostly to healing. Somewhat appropriate.
Yeah, he's got the health commands, so that's what he'll do.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the health command... Oh, ouch. The health command is essentially Cure 2, right?
Yeah, it
That's
is.
the same battle power.
It is Cure 2 for everybody, yep. So, Knuckly Kong has done over 30,000 damage, so we're getting pushed into the Goner phase here. We're going to pick Sabin back up, so he's going to be at full health now, but will be probably about half health when the Goner comes off. And after this, Knuckly Kong will have to heal, and then he has some decisions to make, because Kefka will be in counterattack phase. Does he risk getting a Havoc Wing to the face or a Hyperdrive to the skull? Or is he just going to wait for the next charge up of Goner, where Kefka does not do any counterattacks?
I think given access to Cure 3 and Life 2 might not be a terrible idea to... well, never mind.
Yeah, so
Can't do nothing now.
Yeah, so before Fallen One, Kefka will basically take 2 turns. On his first turn, he can either do Havoc Wing, Havoc Wing Train, or Havoc Wing Revenger, or nothing in the case of one of those 2 things. So he'll do that basically twice, and then he'll do Goner. So we've seen this is the second turn, then that's a double Havoc Wing. So now Bannon has to get one of these people up, and Goner will be the next turn for Kefka here, as you see. So we're going to eat another Goner, but we're still going to be alive because we have a ton of HP. And then we rinse and repeat the same thing again. Kefka gets up to 2 turns, or up to 2 actions on his first turn, up to 2 actions on his second turn. And what we don't want is, Havoc Wing all the way.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to get a little bit more dicey, too, because once Kefka gets down to, I think, roughly 10,000 HP is when he starts countering with Ultima.
Yeah, so here we see the swag sketch strategy. It's either Havoc Wing or Ultima, and this time it is Ultima, so let's see what kind of counterattack we deal with here. Yep, so here's Havoc Wing, the turn. Setzer East one for...
standing, very nice.
Yeah, so we're going to bring Sabin back up here, and Kefka's going to get another 2 actions on this turn here. So here's 1 Havoc Wing. Alright, so he's only going to do 1 Havoc Wing, that's good. So Kefka's next turn will be Goner here, and here it is.
And Knuckly Kong opting for damage at this point.
Yeah, because otherwise you're wasting one of your turns, and Sabin... You're going to survive this Goner anyway because you have more than 2,000 HP. The key will be, let's pick Sabin back up right now and then get health on the entire party.
Yeah.
because then you could sort of start all over again. And without a ton of damage, this is unfortunately how you got to do this fight. It's kind of a slog, and it's a little bit long. But showing good knowledge of the battle script here, at least, to know when to push the gas, when to step on the brakes. All right, so here's Revenger.
That's a good one to find. I think that's just sort of a dispel effect against the entire party.
Yep. Right,
Bannon running out of MP, though.
Yeah, here comes Ultima. Can still do health, so that's a physical counterattack there. And Kefka has one more turn in him before we get to Goner again. And he decided to do nothing, and is going to do Goner instead. So here we go.
Cheeky little Setzer, seeing if he can't steal a Mega Elixir at the last minute.
Oh, I don't know if he wanted the Havoc Wing. He probably wanted the Ultima, but it doesn't matter anyway. GG's Knuckly Kong. Way to be patient with that fight. Gonna finish with a time of 2:01:26, and that honestly was a really, really rough seed, especially to start off. And with how linear this seed was, if you did not do one of Gao's 2 checks, you were chasing around Espers like Knuckly Kong was. So
lots of high Esper counts at the end of this. Even Drinks Glue ending it with 9.
All right, so here comes the full party for Nobody War, and we're going to get rid of this bottom left tentacle right away. The bottom right one is weak to ice, so that's what we're going to throw at it for a bit, and then let's see how the rest of this fight shakes out for Nobody War.
Still doing okay damage, but hopefully going to be able to figure out some ways to bump those numbers up a bit before going into the final fight.
Yeah, so given that he's going to take this fight with his entire party, that means he'll get XP on everybody.
Yes.
So one of the best ways in Worlds Collide to do more damage is to get more levels, just simply in lieu of finding better gear, right? So that'll be nice where his entire party will get a boost here. Yeah, Edgar being the one with most of the damage here.
Yeah, that seems to be the case for most of our runners tonight. Edgar was the MVP. Nobody War found him really late, unfortunately.
All right, so Knuckly Kong is going to go lie down after this one, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So GG's Knuckly Kong for finishing that one off. Thank you as well for volunteering to race. Can't have the races without the runners, so appreciate that. As we'll see, Nobody War here finishing up just shortly. As, he got his Edgar super late, so that's why his Edgar's levels are less than the rest of his team. However, he's still doing more damage than the rest of his team because that's how good Throw is.
This has been a very good ad for Throw on this particular seed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I'm making some decisions. Gonna pop that hero ring, perhaps? Edgar would be a good candidate for it, since Throw does benefit from both types of damage upgrades.
Yeah, I think
he put it on Strago, it looks like.
Yeah, I think he just didn't have enough earrings to go around the entire party. So he's spreading out his magic damage as best as possible, because his Edgar's fine. He's doing enough damage without having the relic equipped. So this is one of those arguments that I could kind of see go either way. Is do you just juice up one character to make them super duper uber powerful, or do you make 4 very good but not unbelievable characters, right? And how well rounded do you want your party to be? Because remember, we don't have calmness protection.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
If we dump everything into one character and they're the one that gets calmness, as we saw Knuckly Kong's thrower get calmness, that's sort of what happens there.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I was thinking. If I had Calmness Protection, I'd be a little bit more confident in doing that. But without access to that, it can be, you can mess it all up right there at the end.
Yeah, so I'm doing a little, excuse me, a little report here because I'm not a mod, so I don't have the authority to ban our little bots here. You can get best viewers, you can get cheap viewers, but can you get fast viewers, right? You can do something.
Exactly.
You could do something well, you could do something cheap, and you could do something fast, but not all three at the same time.
Get my viewers at McDonald's.
Yep.
So Nobody War making it into the final boss. Has some decent HP totals on his characters, so as long as he plays it a little bit carefully, he shouldn't be in too much trouble here. We'll see if he can manage to figure out how to get some more damage out. I was just reminded that he bought 72 dried meat.
Well, in case his team got hungry on the trek all the way back up
it's a long
tower
walk.
again.
You gotta get that protein.
Yeah. He got his steps in today. Remember, he walked from Imperial Camp to Dome
That's true,
Castle.
yeah.
Oh, there we go. That's the kind of rolls we're looking for, Setzer.
Very nice.
More of that, please.
Throwing out those ice 2s. I'm going to assume to save some MP on Sabin there. Yeah, Osmos, so, I don't know if that was a natural magic or if that came off of an Esper, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Knuckly Kong's the only one I've seen utilize it.
Yeah, so the Balled Up Fist is weak to water, which is not the same thing as ice.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yes, I know.
That's not what I learned.
It's very confusing.
Edgar's still putting in the good work here.
Yeah, so we'll see how Nobody War decides to go after the next tier. I think he's going to have more success with just his spell arsenal because Tiger is weak to ice, remember. We do have X-Zone as well, so... Hopefully we will see the swift end of tools, and then we'll blast Tiger down a bit before we decide to take on the other two parts of the boss.
We'll cross our fingers that X-Zone is going to play nice. Here we go. Hey, very nice. Took care of tools right away. So yeah, in general, the order you want to take it in is hopefully you can get rid of tools with an instant death. They're not particularly scary. They've got some nasty moves, but nothing too bad. But next up, you definitely want to get rid of Tiger down there. I want to say it's third turn, or maybe it's fourth turn. Like, it'll do 3 things, and then it will use Doom Tusk. I almost mixed it up with Zombite again. Doom Tusk is a physical attack that will hit a character and turn them into a zombie right then and there. So not only is that character then gone until you can revivify them, but they will start swinging at your party, too.
Yeah, and depending upon what build you have for them, like, for instance, the fixed ice build, that could be devastating.
Oh, okay. Nobody War throwing out a Magicite, which we've seen a couple of our players do that this time. I think Knuckly Kong also tried to snap a Magicite on a boss. Got Carbuncle, which reflect.
I mean, since Magic's not muted, this is not terrible.
No. I did just now notice apparently Drain is not reflectable. That's odd.
That is correct. It is not reflectable.
Every single time you watch this, you learn something new about this beautiful mess of a game.
Yeah, I heard you like spaghetti. Here's some spaghetti code. Alright, so now it looks like we're down to just magic and hit, and oh, yay, magic. Love you, buddy. Can't wait to invite you to my nothing party.
So yeah, Nobody War really looking around at what options he has here. Wants to make sure that he's doing the most efficient thing at the time, which unfortunately not a whole lot of big damage options. Edgar's throw is still doing pretty good, but everybody else is relegated to just what spells they manage to find along the way. There just has not been much equipment offense in this seed.
Yeah, there's that Osmos that you were talking about earlier out from Sabin, so it must be a natural magic thing for him, similar to how we saw he had Fire 3 on him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess there was that Valiant Knife, but at the time that Drinks Glue picked it up, he had 6 characters, I want to say, and none of them could equip it, so... And pretty much none of our players were using any of the late-game characters in their party. Knuckly Kong did fold Gao in there for funsies after...
Oh, no.
Oops.
Oh, no. You hate to see it happen right before the reflect wears off.
Yeah, it just ended!
Right before the reflect wears off.
Hey, you can try it again if you want to.
Well, we're going to have to figure out what to do with Setzer here if he keels over. Wake up, Edgar. We got things to throw.
Yeah, come on, man. All right, getting some decent rolls out of Setzer at least. Unfortunately, there's the Life 3 proc. Had not gone off yet. There it is. So Setzer might bite it if he takes a couple of hits. It looks like he's doing a pretty good job. Decent blocks. Gonna take the opportunity to rearrange his items a little bit. Man!
Yeah, Magic is just...
He's being a real cheeky bastard in this one.
Yeah, so Osmos also doesn't get reflected, similar to Drain. However, you can't do anything with the magic you just took from
yeah,
because now it's going to get reflected, right? So
yeah, this is another Edgar show here.
Love it. Alright, Magic should be almost done, hopefully now soon.
Using all of his longest spells as well. Flare, Pearl, Life 3. Here comes the double Dispel. All right, and Tier 3 is down. Nobody War heads on up to the next phase of this fight.
Yeah, so this will be interesting here, because remember, we do have Phantom, but do we have enough damage to basically take sleep from Meteo phase to dead in one shot? Because otherwise we can risk the Meteo counterattack.
Yeah.
It depends on what we could throw. Heal Rod, maybe, because it's got... So how throw works is it takes the battle power of the weapon that you're throwing, and then it does the physical damage formula to it, and then it ignores the defense of whatever target it is you're throwing at. So the Heal Rod actually has a battle power of like 200 and something. It's ridiculous. So the Heal Rod is actually a pretty effective item to throw. However, there is one caveat. You're not a Real Worlds Collide player until you accidentally throw the Heal Rod at the back of your head, because the Heal Rod, when you throw it, it targets yourself first, which is stupid.
Yeah, it's really strange which properties the throw command... Wow, that was super unlucky. Yeah, but it's very strange which properties the throw command decides to utilize and which ones it doesn't. it'll deal with having the elemental affinity of the weapon that you throw. Okay, that kind of makes sense, but it will always do the defense ignoring thing and doesn't really care about the hail rod for some reason doing, healing damage instead of actual physical damage. I'm not sure where that takes effect. Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
That's really unlikely.
Wow. That is brutal luck there for Nobody War. He is not going to finish the race, and I do not blame him as well.
No, absolutely not. That was... I almost don't even blame him for that. Like, that was just... Such nasty luck there at the end.
That is gross. What is not gross is that coming up right after this, which is going to be just in a second, is the SG Live Legend of Zelda 1 randomizer. So there's a tournament going on. So one of the matches is coming on right now. So unfortunately, we're going to have to dip out of here right now without an interview for Nobody War. So just wanted to thank you, Turdsman, for doing commentary with me. And thank you to SpeedGaming as well for letting us show off our wonderful game. Really appreciate it. Any other final words, Turdsman, before you get out of here?
Big thank you to all of our runners for showing off tonight. Thank you to Drinks Glue, Nobody War, and Knuckly Kong, putting on a great show, showing all of the fantastic little facets of this beautiful little game that we have all been playing almost nonstop for the past 3 years.
Yeah, that was a particularly gross seed for some
of our
runners, but at least you got to see what the game was all about. Thank you.